Yes, everyone, welcome to Full Time Devils. My name is Stephen Howson, and this is Transfer Talk. As always, it's going absolutely off with everybody and anybody being linked with Manchester United. But there looks like there might be a little bit of movement on this guy, Harry Maguire. So let's get straight into it then. So apparently United are willing to offer Andreas Pereira as part of the Maguire deal. Now, that is coming from the Mirror, so take that with a massive amount of salt. Whether that's going to happen or not, I have my own feelings on. But it seems like with Pereira not seemingly settled at United, that's not a bad move. I think he could probably go and have a decent little career somewhere at Leicester. I do like the idea of Maguire. I think he's on a list. He's not top of that list. Koulibaly would have been top of that list. I reckon we did inquire for Koulibaly when he told us the price. He was like, yeah, I'm just looking, mate, don't worry about that. I reckon we went for De Ligt. There might still be something on the cards there with De Ligt, maybe. We're going to find out, I guess. But Maguire's in there, probably under Alderweireld for me. But what Maguire offers us that I don't think that you've got in the squad right now, at least, which some of the targets that we're looking at have definitely got, is you've got a player that's got the ability to step out in defence. And when a player steps out with the ball in defence, like someone that's good on the ball like Maguire, I mean, I know he looks a bit goofy, but he's actually like a real class player on the ball. I think when he steps into defence, he gives the midfield and the opposition something to think about. And that's when one of them steps up and he leaves a midfielder free. And then that leaves a forward free. That's the chain reaction that happens. When people talk about playing out from the back, they're not just necessarily talking about being out and just knock it side to side in a defence. Anyone can pretty much do that, bar Chris Smalling. What they're talking about is someone that's got the ability to actually step into it. John Stones was getting raved about when he was doing it for Manchester City, but he's still got some defensive frailties. Harry Maguire doesn't have those frailties, and he's not far off the level that Stones is on the ball. That ability to step into the midfield is very good. But so are the rest of the ones that we've been linked to, and there's no coincidence in that. I think that's something that United are definitely looking at. We've got to add to our defence. Speaking about defence, it looks like there's a bit of a tussle going on with Wan-Bissaka. I would expect this to get completed in the very, very near future. Days, if not weeks, at a push. We've had another bid rejected. This add-ons being talked about. When it gets down to the nitty-gritty like this, I think you're so close to a deal being done. Just don't panic. They'll get it over the line. By all accounts, they've been talking about it since about March, so we will get it over the line. It's just about Palace want to make sure that they're not seen to be getting rinsed. But what makes me laugh is the bid, the amount, 50 million. Now, some people are going, that's crazy for a player that's had essentially one good season. It's probably a season and a half if you want to get technical, but it's crazy money for someone that's potentially only had one good season, but he's got great resale value. Now, for me, the money being talked about for Lukaku only being like 65 million. Now, your feelings on whether Lukaku's right for United or whether he was a success at United or anything like that, United should not be losing money on that deal. He should be going for either what we paid for him or more, because of the way that inflation has taken everything past what we was paying for it. So if Wan-Bissaka's worth 50, how are we letting Lukaku go for 60? That makes no sense to me whatsoever. So I would expect Wan-Bissaka to be over the line before we start pre-season in July. Another lad from Leicester is James Madison. So apparently he's come out and said that he's desperate to win trophies. That's obviously linked him to Manchester United. I don't know how. We are not the Manchester United that just, by course, just wins trophies left, right and centre. But I actually do like James Madison as a player. Created the most chances in the Premier League last season at Leicester. Think about that. Creating chances at somewhere like City or Liverpool, okay, fair enough. But creating most chances at somewhere like Leicester, I think there's something special about that kid. And I think there's also something special about Wan-Bissaka. And the fact that both of them are part of the under-21s, I think both of them probably deserve the shout in the full England setup for me. I would think it's very unlikely that you get two players out of Leicester in one window. So I think if we get Maguire, forget about Madison. If we get Madison, forget about Maguire. You're not getting both of those. I reckon you're only going to get one of them. On the outs, Markus Rashford is linked with Barcelona, and there are other clubs that are in the mix as well. Those links with Barcelona, by the way, they're real. Barcelona are interested in Markus. The Times came out last night and said that, look, he's about to sign a new deal. That's also what I'm led to believe as well, that there is a new deal has only just been put on the table. Now, all of the talk about this 350 grand a week, I can tell you now, on my children, that this is not real. There's no way that they are going in there and asking for those sorts of figures. All the people are like, well, why doesn't he sign a contract then? The contract has not been on the table until this week. The club have not sat down with Markus until this week. I can tell you that as a fact. Now, forget any rumours, forget what papers are saying. I know for a fact that they've not sat down, they've not even sat down with Markus, sat down with his agent this week. That's the first time that that's happened. So all of the, he's using this or he's using that or he's trying to use transfers, I'll tell you right now, it's bollocks. I think he'll sign. I don't think he'll leave. But the links are real, and we'll see what happens with it. Eh? But I'm glad he's signing. I think he's coming for a hell of a lot of unfair shit at the moment, and a lot of it's basing on what Jesse Lingard's doing. Use your own eyes, yeah? Stop being drawn by idiots in the media and use your own eyes. Who's one of the hardest working players at the football club? It's Markus Rashford, right? Whether he's inconsistent or not, well, do you know what? Only under Solskjaer did he actually start getting some consistent minutes in the same position. And then once he got injured against Liverpool, he didn't start getting consistent minutes again because there was time to now bring in Lukaku, and it didn't really work the system. I think with a good pre-season, you'll see a real good Markus Rashford next season. Pogba, obviously, that all broke over at the weekend. United have come out, really interestingly, United have come out because they didn't come out with Lukaku or any of the other players that have left and say, not going. And I don't think it's posturing from United either. United are under no pressure to sell Paul Pogba. I think that he might well want to leave. I think that's pretty clear from the comments that he's saying. But there's talk of he needs to come out and say it in no doubts whatsoever. I want to go this summer before we're even going to think about letting him do that. And Real Madrid need to pay around about 150 million to even think about getting him out. One Football did an article quoting ABC yesterday where they said there's 4 things need to happen for Real Madrid to sign Paul Pogba, and I can genuinely only see one of those things happening. They need to get him for less than 100 million. No, I don't think so. Or if you do, that's an absolute disgrace. They need Raiola to waive his commission. Yeah, no, don't think so. More chance of seeing me with a City tattoo. Pogba needs to take a lower wage. Really? Don't think so. And the 4th one is that Pogba needs to hand in an official transfer request. That's the only one I can see happening. That is the only one that I can see happening. If that's the criteria for him to leave, might as well get Pogba 6 on your shirt because I wouldn't think he was going to go. But I still think with Raiola as his agent and Real Madrid doing what Real Madrid are doing this summer, there is a chance that he could go. I'm not believing that those 4 criteria are everything that needs to happen. Lukaku, that one looks like it's all but signed and sealed, and seeing him standing there with a shirt with probably Inter Milan on the back of it. Roberto Martinez has now come out and said that he thinks he needs to leave United. Do you know what? I agree. I thought he was unfairly criticised in his first season, but I thought last season, and it could have just been a one-season blip, to be honest with you, but I thought last season it was quite evident that he's not got the off-the-ball movement, outside the box at least, that we need from our forwards, that some of the other forwards in the team offer. He really comes alive. His movement's actually very underrated inside the box, but outside the box, he's just terrible. So I would say, yeah, he's probably going. And that's it from me. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to hit the like button, make sure to subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Laters.